and this is the astrological forecast for the sign of Gemini for the whole of 2022. Let's get the facts out of the way first, and then we'll look at the meanings. The facts of the matter are that the new moon in Gemini will be on the 30th of May. It is not a significant new moon. The full moon in Gemini will be on the 8th of December. Now that is a significant full moon. It's going to be exactly opposite Mars, and there's going to be a number of you around that time who are going to be under a great deal of pressure. So here I'm particularly looking at those of you born around the, I suppose I'm looking at the 6th, 7th of June. If you're one of these people, then you are going to need to pay attention at the end of the first week of December, because you may find you're going to get a lot of buttons pushed at this time. So forewarned is forearmed. The Sun will move into Gemini on the 21st of May and leave on the 21st of June. Now Mercury is going to move into Gemini on the 29th of April, but then it's going to go retrograde, particularly aspecting those of you born around the 25th, 26th of May. If you're one of these people, if you're one of these early Geminis born around the 25th, 26th of May, then be aware that when Mercury is going retrograde, standing still going retrograde, which will happen around the 8th to the 11th of May, it'll be very easy to get things confused or fused. There may be a sort of sparks coming out your ears. Don't make major changes, of course, or change plans at that time. There's going to be a lot of crazy information flowing around at that time. Mercury will stand still, will move backwards into Taurus, and then move forward into Gemini again, finally re-entering Gemini on the 13th of June and leaving on the 5th of July. I think it's safe to say that the period from, say, the 1st of May through to perhaps the 15th, 16th of June is not a time for major changes, of course. Venus will move into Gemini on the 23rd of June until the 18th of July. Mars will enter Gemini on the 23rd of August, and then he will stay with you for the rest of the year, because we've got a really big Mars retrograde coming up. Now, over the period of late August and early September, Mars will affect all May Geminis big time. But it's only really those of you born from about, say, the 30th of May through to about the 16th of June who are going to see the major effects of this Mars retrograde. But this is the majority of you. So if you're one of these people born from the 29th of May to the 16th of June, then the time of mid-September through to the end of the year is going to see a lot of chopping and changing. And I'll come back to this a bit more in a moment. With the outer planets, Uranus, I'm delighted to say, isn't touching you, and neither is Pluto. Jupiter will square the sun sign of all of you over the period of very early January through to the middle of the second week of May. And in that first 18, 19 weeks of the year, I do suggest that it would be very easy for you to overreach, overstretch, bite off more than you can chew, things like this. Now, this is not a big deal, but it's going to be enough to notice. And if you take the top 10% of what's available, you'll do well. And if you take the top 80%, you'll wish you hadn't. Saturn is going to be a number of your friends. If you're born from the 2nd to the 9th of June, then in the first couple of months of this year, you're in a very good space to attract a degree of fortune, to be seen by others as someone who's competent, confident, and able to influence the future through a methodical, disciplined, structured approach to life. From early March onwards, this same influence will then develop into the lives of those of you born from the 9th to the 15th of June, and this will last until December. So those of you born from the 9th to the 15th of June, well, much of the year you're going to find it's actually a really good time. It's not exciting, but it's steady and consistent. And this is particularly so around the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th of June. Very good for you in terms of getting ahead. No problems. I expect you to have a healthy year. Now, Neptune is coming. Neptune has been affecting the lives of those of you born on the 10th, 11th, 12th of June in this last year or two. There's been a lot of nebulousness, confusion, vagueness, uncertainty, a lot of dissolving and slippage and letting go. This is coming to an end and will be a thing of the past by the time you're into the end of February. But from early March onwards, Neptune is going to be impacting on the lives of those of you born around the 14th, 15th, 16th of June. And this coming year is likely to be difficult for you in terms of slippage. Things, people, situations and environments falling through your fingers like sand and water, just dissolving and slipping away. And the more you try and hang on to them, the more they slip. And it gets a bit more complicated in this because towards the end of the year, as Mars stands still and goes retrograde, as it is squaring Neptune, it suggests to me particularly that the period of the last 3 weeks of October could get very messy indeed if you're not careful for those Geminis born around the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th of June. If you're one of these, please don't take silly risks as you get into October. It might be very easy at this time to deal with the world as being the way you want it to be rather than dealing with it the way it really is. October in general is a difficult time for all Geminis, but particularly those born around the 13th to the 16th. Now these are the exception rather than the rule. For most of you this year is actually looking quite positive, and I do expect a degree of structure and order to become the norm. But a few of you are going to get confused, primarily those born from about the 13th to the 15th, 12th to the 15th. Let's extend that, 12th to the 16th. But for the rest of you, it's actually looking not that bad a year. Big thank you to all those people who have helped me. You know who you are, a few of you particularly. It's those little donations which keep me going, because without it, I wouldn't be able to do this stuff for free. And I love my work. So thank you.